What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Thanks so much for your patience this week because I was sick as a dog over the weekend and earlier this week, so definitely needed to have some time to recover. But I'm back making some content, promoting indie games, and I got an indie game for you that is kind of in a top-down mood, just like I was with Bulwark. But this is a game called Gods Against Machines. I was actually sent a code by the developers at Silver Eye Studios to promote the game, which actually releases on February the 23rd, so it's about a month from now. So what is this game? What is it? What are you doing with it? Why is it called Gods Against Machines? It's actually pretty obvious from your watching my footage in the background. So this is kind of some pre-recorded footage because I was playing with it for a while just to kind of get a feel for it. But Gods Against Machines is a RTS roguelite where you play as a series of gods and you are protecting your home from this alien force of machines. In fact, the description says your world is under attack by a ruthless race of machines. You are its only hope. Cast epic spells, summon minions or buildings, and destroy the enemy before they conquer your home in this action roguelite strategy game. So that is exactly what you are doing. So it's pretty fun, very top down as you're seeing, and you have full control over the entire map. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, and just like I said with Bulwark, this is probably best played on keyboard and mouse, but you can use controller. I tried to use controller, it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel very intuitive to kind of use something like this to use controller on. So I think strategy games like this more cater to the keyboard and mouse side of things. So I very much prefer using keyboard and mouse. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can go anywhere on the map, you can see where everything is. And so what are you actually doing? You have it from the beginning. You have a choice of a series of gods, and you have 4 gods to choose from. There's 4 gods in total. Like I said, there's Azeroth, the god of fire. There's Nadia, the goddess of water. There's Eurus, the god of earth, and then Zephyra, the goddess of wind. There's also a 4th god. It's Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, but you don't get the controller. She is actually your companion, and she is responsible for spawning these things like mana crystals, which provide you with mana. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, there is a continuously refilling sphere of mana and miracles that you get. Mana is what you use to use your spells. As you can see, I'm using a number of spells to basically rain down my godly fury on these corrupting machines that are destroying and polluting the earth. We don't want to do that. I've been playing a lot of games that involve a heavy environmentalist theme, so interesting theme that. But yeah, so you have these things, and then you have Gaia, who shows up at the very end. As you can see, when you get to a certain number of destruction from your enemies, they will send out your big bad captains, and then Gaia and yourself will be able to take them out, and Gaia will summon various animal spirits that you can also call to your aid and destroy all of the corrupting forces, and then move on to the next map. So it's actually pretty cool, and you just click, you rain down. You can select any number of spells ranging from just your basic attacks, which are standard, and then you have various summoning spells that you can use AoEs, or you can summon animals. I think with this, I was using Nadia for this particular playthrough, and she can summon actually a crab that spawns out of the water, but you actually have to summon the crab out of the water, but you also have to have enough mana. But how do you get enough mana? How do you get enough power? How do you grow? Where's the roguelite elements come in? But so after you get your victory, after you complete everything that you do, you get a number of spells that you see here on the screen here. They're kind of shaped like spires. This game was actually inspired a lot by Slay the Spire. So you get to choose a number of spells, whether it be a new spell based on your abilities, or a different type of spell, whether it be sort of regeneration for mana crystals, or regen in the area, or reducing the amount of corruption that is being spread by the enemies, or getting power shards, which increase your power, increase your abilities as a god, like cooldowns, the amount of mana used, the amount of attack damage, the just amount of range that you get. So just a lot of things you can choose from, and then you go on to the next thing. So what's interesting about moving on in this game, there's actually 40 levels in total, is that you can actually skip levels. You actually don't have to go from like 1 to 40. You can go from 1 to 5, or 5 to 10, or 10 to 20. So it's It just depends on what is on the map, but it's just based on what is based on what the region is, and there's specific debuffs and buffs based on the region. As you can see in the corner, says the region will have percentages of damage reduction or damage increases based on the type of region that you're in. It also gives you the amount of enemies that you're at, the enemy rank, also the amount of loot you're getting, the amount of power charge you're getting, also the amount of upgrades that you're getting for your character, and also for Gaia, because you can also increase Gaia's ability to help you out in battle by summoning more animals, the amount of mana crystals that are available, the durability of the mana crystals and how fast they spawn. So yeah, and you just go right into the map and you just go and you spawn. So what you want to do, what you want to focus on really is, you can see the purple mist that's kind of coming out of these buildings here, is you want to focus on that, because that is affecting your corruption meter up at the top bar here. And when that corruption meter hits 100%, you lose your run. And that carries on to overall corruption in the world. So the amount of corruption that is spread in the world, that means you lose. So basically that's how it is. And you also have your resources. You can see the amount that you destroy, the more your resources deplete, and when they get to 0, they spawn their captain, as you saw earlier. You can also right click on certain buildings to see what it is, exactly what they do, and how much corruption they spread. So when you destroy a building, there are these little I think they're like yellow looking cars that actually repair buildings. So you kind of want to take those out as well, so they don't repair buildings. But there's also buildings that will spawn vehicles that will go and destroy your mana crystals. So I didn't really want to focus on those much. I just want to destroy the buildings, because there are elements in the background near your mana crystals that you can spawn that can help you destroy the enemies that spawn. But also enemies will spawn in more forces, more powerful forces that will take out your mana crystals. And if all your mana crystals are gone, you don't have the ability to spawn spells because you don't have mana. So you kind of want to make sure your resources are managed appropriately by the amount of things that you're spawning to help protect your mana crystals, but also increasing your damage to the buildings that you're at. So there's a lot of resource management, a lot of menus to click. So, but once you get a feel for it, once you get a hang for it, it's not super difficult. So it can get a little bit repetitive after a while when you're trying to just figure out and try to spam everything over and over again. It can also get a little bit frustrating when you don't have enough mana to spawn the more powerful or more AoE affecting spells in your spell book. So you may have to wait just a little bit for that mana to refill before you even start, and you kind of get the sense of urgency. It's like, well, the corruption is spreading, and Gaia will actually tell you at certain intervals. Like, I think when it gets to about 26%, she'll say corruption is spreading, or if it gets to 50%, corruption is critical, and just continue on. So she'll update you when corruption is spreading in the world. So you kind of want to, be on top of making sure that the corruption does not get spread. But there are ways to mitigate that, and mana will reform. But as you get power charge, you'll be able to increase your base mana. You'll be able to get how much mana that you increase overall in general. So it's just, you get more powerful. It's just like any roguelite. You get power charge, you get more powerful, you get powerful you get more powerful, rinse and repeat. So it's pretty fun. So I think more experience with it was overall pretty positive. I had a good time with it. It wasn't too bad. Didn't have any hard crashes at all. I think the only thing that wasn't too good for me, I think the environments can get a little bit samey. I know you go from deserts to forests to even snowy areas, but they all kind of blend in. All the assets look a little bit the same after a certain point, so there's not a whole lot of stylized art assets over there, and there's just a lot of enemies. What's a cool feature is actually you can click on the map in the bottom right hand corner. You can go from place to place, because there's a lot of things that they'll spawn. So enemies will spawn in one corner of the map to another corner of the map, so you'll be able to manage them there. It also didn't really get that hard, especially when you go from just from level to level, it doesn't really get that hard. I mean, even when they drop in their generals, it doesn't get super hard, and they spread in corruption. It's not super difficult. I know at the higher tiers it can get a little bit more difficult, but I think for me it wasn't that hard as well. So I didn't really feel that difficulty spike as all. But it was pretty good. But I think there's a lot of I think what they call it dynamic spell book creation in this game. So there's a lot of abilities and a lot of spells. I mean, there's tons and tons of spells over the 4 different gods that you can choose from, and you actually make sure you synergize between them. So because some of these gods can focus more on attack, some of these gods focus more on infecting the environment overall. Like I'm gonna read off. So Azzinoth, this god focuses on raw destructive power with spells like Meteor Storm or Volcano. He can wipe out entire enemy outposts with a single cast. So Azzinoth, the god of fire, like I said before, can focus more on just overall damage output, whereas a god like Eurus, the god of earth, is a lord of spirits, such as it can summon and aid them in battle, and call upon massive earth giants or spirits of the animal kingdom and let them tear your enemies apart. So you have a god that can focus more on attack, you have a god that focuses more on summoning, and you have a god that focuses more on healing. So it's just figuring out which god works best for you. So I would encourage you to try out each one of these gods to figure out your preferred play style, whichever one suits your play style, suits what you like in an RTS strategy roguelite. So so nothing crazy about this game, but there's a lot of fun that can be had. There's pretty much a lot of hours you can spend. I think a full run of this game they described as that you can go from about 1 to 3 hours for an entire full run, from 1 to 40, depending on how long you want to go. Like I said, you can skip certain levels, so depending on how well and how much damage you do and how powerful your god is, it drastically reduces or increases the time based on that. So there's a lot going on in this game. There's a lot to be had in this game. But so I just wanted to just take a minute and just talk about this game, Gods vs. Machines, because I think this is an interesting game you can put on your radar for February 23rd of 2024. But let me know if RTSs are your thing. If you like the Slay the Spire RTS strategy roguelite game. So if you're into that, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your thoughts about what you've seen about this game. Let me know if this is something that you're going to pick up. I'm going to put a link to the Steam page in the description of this video below, so go ahead and click that so you can wishlist it, follow it if this game looks interesting to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's been a while, but I'll be back for more. Thank you so much again. My name is Chike. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.